There is a question that keeps showing up in quiet ways. It slips into conversations at weddings. It hides inside jokes from friends. It wears the polite mask of concern from family members. So, are you seeing anyone? On the surface, it sounds harmless. But underneath it carries an assumption that almost no one questions. That being single is temporary. That it is a gap. That it is something waiting to be fixed. And if you stay there too long, people start to worry. Or worse, they start to judge silently. But what if this question is the wrong one entirely? What if being single is not a failure to connect, but a refusal to live unconsciously? What if solitude is not an absence, but an advantage so quiet most people never notice it working? Because here is the truth that rarely gets said out loud. Being single changes how you think. It changes how you feel. It changes how you relate to the world and to yourself. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Permanently. And that is exactly why it is so misunderstood. Most people confuse solitude with loneliness. And that confusion costs them years of their lives. Loneliness is the feeling of lack. It is the ache that says something is missing. It is the hunger for distraction, validation, reassurance. Solitude is something else entirely. Solitude is presence. It is the state of being with yourself without needing to escape. It is not about pushing people away. It is about not abandoning yourself. Many people rush into relationships not because they are overflowing with love, but because silence makes them uncomfortable. When there is no one else around, their thoughts get louder. Their fears surface. Their unfinished emotions come knocking. So they fill the space. With texting. With dating. With attachment. Solitude removes that escape hatch. And that is why it feels dangerous to people who have never learned to sit with themselves. Because when you are alone, there is no one to project onto. No one to blame. No one to distract you from your own patterns. You begin to see yourself clearly. And clarity is not always comfortable. But it is honest. Something subtle happens when you spend real time alone. Not scrolling alone. Not numbing alone. Actual solitude. Your mind begins to change. When you are in a relationship, even a healthy one, your nervous system is partially regulated by another person. Decisions are negotiated. Emotions are buffered. Direction is shared. When you are single, there is no external stabilizer. So you develop one internally. You learn how to calm yourself without reassurance. You learn how to make decisions without consensus. You learn how to tolerate uncertainty without immediately reaching for comfort. At first, this feels unsettling. There is no emotional handrail. But slowly, something else forms. Self-trust. You start noticing that you can sit with discomfort and survive it. That you can choose without asking permission. That your inner voice gets clearer when it is not constantly blended with someone else's. Being single builds psychological spine. Not confidence for performance. Not bravado. But the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can stand alone without collapsing. That changes everything. Emotional maturity grows faster in solitude, and most people do not like hearing that. Not because it is untrue, but because it exposes a shortcut they have been using. In relationships, it is easy to offload emotions. To regulate through someone else's presence. To discharge stress through conflict or reassurance. Solitude removes the outlet. If you are angry, you have to understand it. If you are sad, you have to feel it. If you are triggered, there is nowhere to send it. Your emotions come back to you. This forces responsibility. You start asking different questions. Why am I reacting this way? What is this really about? What pattern is repeating here? Without an audience, honesty increases. There is no performance. No image to maintain. Just you and your inner weather. And over time, you become less reactive, not because life is easier, but because you are no longer outsourcing regulation. That is emotional maturity. Not perfection. Not constant calm. But ownership. Solitude also gives you a kind of freedom most people are afraid of. Not the freedom to do anything, but the freedom to choose consciously. When you are single, your time belongs to you. Your energy belongs to you. Your direction belongs to you. There are no emotional contracts running in the background. No silent negotiations. No fear of destabilizing someone else by changing. This level of freedom sounds appealing until you realize what it demands. Responsibility. If your life feels stagnant, there is no one to blame. If you feel unfulfilled, there is no relationship to hide inside. If you want more, you have to build it. Many people prefer the safety of shared dissatisfaction over the risk of solitary responsibility. Solitude removes the cushion. And in doing so, it reveals who you really are when no one else is steering. But let's be honest. Solitude is not a fantasy state. You lose things. You lose easy validation. You lose the comfort of being mirrored daily. You lose the social approval that comes with fitting the expected timeline. You lose shared routines. You lose emotional buffering. You lose the convenience of having someone absorb your overflow. Loneliness does visit. There are nights where the quiet feels heavy. Moments where you wish someone else was there. This is real. But here is what solitude does not take from you. It does not take your worth. It does not take your capacity for love. It does not take your future. It simply refuses to numb you. Solitude costs comfort before it gives clarity. And most people quit before the clarity arrives. Something interesting happens to people who stay single long enough to actually grow from it. They change how they approach love. They stop looking for completion. They stop negotiating their identity. They stop mistaking chemistry for alignment. When they choose connection, it is quieter, slower, more deliberate. They are not trying to be rescued from themselves. They are meeting another whole person as a whole person. Love stops being a solution and becomes an experience. And that changes the quality of relationships entirely. Here is the quiet advantage most people will never understand. Solitude grows you invisibly. There are no photos. No milestones others recognize. No applause. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But internally, foundations are forming. Self-knowledge. Emotional regulation. Discernment. Depth. People who avoid solitude often live louder lives. More visible. More validated. But quieter lives tend to be sturdier. You do not need to explain your solitude to people who are afraid of their own. You do not need to justify a season that is building something internal. Being single is not a waiting room. For some people, it is the work. And when you understand that, everything changes.